My name is Ken Wheeler, and I would like to tell you my story of the relationship with my father and the results and the effects it had on my life. I grew up in a very violent home, a very abusive home. My mother and father fought excessively, violently, very cruel situation. My mother was hurt a number of times. I witnessed that from the time I was young enough to remember till I left home and my father died. But that was a pretty traumatic childhood. Wasn't much of a childhood to it because of that situation. The tension, the apprehension was not good. My father was there physically, but he was not there. He wasn't there. May have been present, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there for the family. He wasn't there for me. When he was there, it was generally abusiveness. I remember him coming home from work every afternoon and just the apprehension and the tension in the house, knowing it was not going to be pleasant when he got there. My father never played with me, but one time in my life that I remember. He came out, threw a football one time, and went back in the house. As I got a little older, probably 14, 15 years old, I literally pulled a shotgun on my father to keep him from what I thought was fixing to kill my mother and at least give her a bad beating. That's pretty disturbing for a 15-year-old. I remember one incident one night. We had gone out, we did commercial work, refrigeration work. We'd gone out to check some equipment we had been servicing. It was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. People were walking up and down the highway. Back in those days, in the mid-60s, there wasn't a lot of phones around. There weren't any cell phones. So I was driving, thought, well, I'll stop and see if we can give somebody a ride to go get them a car or whatever the deal was. Well, once we stopped and had the window down, realized they were drunk, and it was about 6 of them, and they basically decided they wanted the car, and we were going to take them. Well, I decided that wasn't going to happen, so I put the car in gear, started to roll the window up, and the biggest of the guys reached in and grabbed me by the head of the hair and began to threaten me and tell me what he's fixing to do. And I'm thinking, my father's a bigger man than I am. He's fixing to put a stop to this. And I cut my eyes over at him, and he was looking straight ahead. He didn't come to my defense. He didn't protect me like a father should. That was devastating. I never heard, I love you. Never any, I'm proud of you, son. Never did I hear that. Pretty rough growing up. So my relationship with God was not very good because I was sitting here waiting on him to drop the hammer, whether I deserved it or not. But I realized later on in life, God began to heal those things and show me that one of the things we do, whether you're a young man or a young lady, either one, or an adult, our first view of God comes from our relationship with our Father. That was intentional from God. That was the plan. But here's the good news. We're products of our circumstances. We all have different backgrounds. But you know what? We don't have to remain prisoners of our circumstances. God can heal that place in our hearts, heal those wounds, and cause us to see him for the good God that he really is. Maybe you grew up in that kind of home. Maybe your father wasn't violent, but he just wasn't there to defend you. So if that's you today, hey, you're not the only one. God wants to heal that place in you. Thank you.